Yeah.
That's true. But had she, now, I mean, my missus ain't the one who buys the lottery ticket occasionally when they get big in my household. She reminds me that it gets big because she hears it from her coworkers, but she never actually goes and buys any.
Right.
She's like, hey, by the way, you know, it's like 400 million. Okay. Got it. I'll go get a ticket or whatever, right? But she's been through everything with me. If we went back now to having all that money, great.
Yeah.
Let's just, I don't know, buy Canada. Can we? Like, how much is that going to cost now?
Can we just buy it?
Listen, if Trump can make an offer, if I win $500 million in the lottery, can I put in a reasonable request? Like, I only want the eastern half, less Quebec. Like,
Yeah,
you can
right.
keep the rest.
Yeah. I mean, no. Like,
Give the rest to Minnesota and North Dakota.
I want to give shit to Minnesota.
I'd be happy to give it that. No, Wisconsin gets a bit too. I like the Wisconsinites.
That's fair.
They're people, yeah.
I want to give shit to any
And
of
those
states.
provinces are all right above there. Only makes
Yeah,
sense. Just
yeah,
extend
yeah.
your borders. We'll make it easy, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Your people, call my people.
That's funny. No, but you'd have to find something to spend your time doing, right? Like,
Well, that's the question of the day, man. So
Right.
we got going here kind of off out of the blue. Go ahead, man.
well, welcome everybody again to another episode of the I Shower After Work podcast. We are in the Eastside Job trailer.
Eastside Job trailers. Yeah.
I almost said West. I had to like slow myself down and talk and get it out right.
As I recommended a couple episodes
And,
ago. Glad you're listening.
And Jason is across the table from me. Jason, how you been, my man?
Very good, my man. I am. I'm going to be as awake as I can here, folks. I got a new puppy, and the sleep schedule is not what I'd hoped for. I'm not complaining. You'll have probably seen posts on the internet or social media about her already. But yeah, Ripley has been keeping me honest. So
Yeah. But this week, man, it's another great week. We have another reoccurring guest,
yeah,
Mr. Pete Heiniger,
back with us. Thank you, sir. Welcome, man.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me back.
father of two, husband,
Yes.
fucking AV low voltage guy,
Yes, sir.
and
Yes,
a
sir.
band member of a local band.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We keep ourselves quiet, but we appear once in a while.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of return guests now, and I usually like to go back and listen to their episode to remind myself what we talked about. But this whole conversation today was going to be kind of wild anyway, so I decided not to. The band had a really unique name. It was like letters or something that stood for something, right?
Yes.
Remind me. The name of the band, please.
The Little Bit Better Band.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
L3B or
LB3.
LB3. That,
LB3.
I knew it was something with letters.
LB3
numbers and
for
shit.
short.
LB3.
a little
Yeah.
bit better band.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
our Facebook page, LB3
Yep.
official, I believe, is what the Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. Yeah, shout out. Did you have an Instagram?
We do not have an Instagram. We only have a Facebook page at this
Okay.
point.
Well, at this point, Instagram's pretty easy, and I say that knowing that John's giving me half a look out of his eye because I need to do more social media, and he brings it up once every like 6 weeks to be a nice guy when he wants to say every day, like, make a post today. Instagram's easy. Set up an Instagram for yourself, too. All right, so the Little Bit Better Band.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
L3B. Okay, yeah.
So we kind of put in Pete's corner this week to come up with a topic to talk about. Pete, what did you end up deciding?
Oh, and and this is where I expose myself for how lame of a guy I really am.
Listen, I did some research, man. We're going to have an argument about a few things. It's not lame. You got it.
What kind of becomes fascinating to me throughout the construction industry and being on job sites that range from one person there other than yourself to 80 other people all mixing in each other's space. I really get interested in what do people do when they're not at work? How do we see how they act 40 hours a week.
Right.
We see how they hold themselves in those environments. We see that side of them. But what makes these people tick around us? And so I get very fascinated by that. I'm a natural people person. I'm a little bit extroverted. So I don't mind wondering and trying to keep engaging in people. What makes you tick?
It's a fun wonder, right? Even if you're doing it just to have a mental exercise, it's fun. So you're talking about the hobbies that they would enjoy, what they do with their spare time.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah.
I've never wondered that one time on the fucking job site. I don't give a fuck what people do outside of work.
Well, there is that.
And that's
too.
fair. That's totally
I see
fair.
them more than I see my family. I don't give a fuck what they do.
Well, and that's kind of part of the point is that we realistically actually spend more time with the people that we work with than we do our spouses and our families and things like that.
Right.
When you take into account sleep time and all of the other things, yeah, we spend a ton of time with the people that we work with. And occasionally, you get roped into joining in someone else's hobby, and sometimes you pick hobbies up from people that are around you.
Yeah.
I find that kind of interesting. I thought that would be an interesting conversation to have.
Do you guys hang out with people after work that you work with?
Not anymore.
No, I
Not
never
anymore.
have.
Not even. Well,
Well, I guess you and I. Shit.
yeah.
Present company accepted. Present company accepted.
However, not as much anymore as I used to, but I can tell you that there was definitely a certain point in time during construction and being in the construction industry, that I can tell you there's plenty of times where I hung out with people outside of work. Hey, let's go grab a beer after work. And then a beer turns into a beer and bowling and, something else.
Right. Well, we just went, you and I just started golfing.
Yeah, that's
Like
right.
that was the deal there.
Yep.
So
I like how you subtly brought that up. All right, so I got him to text you again yesterday because I looked at my phone. I'm like, I don't have Pete's number. How the fuck do I not have Pete's number? So I got him to text you. I'm glad everything worked out to record today. And then it dawned on me last night, just chilling out watching TV. I'm like, I had to have had his number. I look up John, Pete's golf buddy, or buddy from golf. I'm like, I probably should have changed that to Heiniger a while ago. Like, my brain just skipped right past that. I assumed I had your last name in there. No. As soon as he got here today, I'm like, what's his number? Yeah, that's the one. Okay.
There it is.
Technology beat me. I don't know how it happened.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
watch out. It's
We'll start
coming
out
more.
quick here then, without getting into too much detail. You brought it up, Pete, so we'll let you start, man. One of let's say your number one hobby, the one that takes up the most time or effort when you're not at work.
Well, see, that's totally not fair. Because that's the question that I was going to start with.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. There are some benefits to being host of the show, right?
Yeah.
Cheers. buddy.
So I'm going to have to say that my wife is very, very clear with me that I have gear acquisition syndrome. So if I pick up a hobby, I'm on top of the gear. I am all over the gear.
Yep.
And I have had a ton of hobbies, still have a ton of hobbies.
That could be a big financial commitment depending on the hobby.
You're correct.
You'll
You're
break a
correct.
fucking
Some of
bank.
them are huge.
Yeah.
What I will say is I will say that I spend most of my free time playing music, and doing house projects, and that's where a lot of my time gets spent. My favorite hobbies are seasonal. My favorite winter hobby would be downhill skiing, and my favorite summer hobby would be golf. So, are there other things that I do? Yeah, I enjoy mountain biking and everything else, but we don't have a long enough time period for me to explain how many hobbies that I have and how many that I've gone through in my life.
Imagine if
'cause
your
there's-
mountain bike
there's
cost $34,000 and you had a short season.
Yeah, right?
That sucks.
Right?
Yeah, so I understand on a full scale, man. I really, really do.
That's funny.
Yeah.
By the way, I can't wait to get the fucking bike back. But anyways, that's months away yet.
I've
Just saying
got-
it out loud.
I've got PMS really bad.
Yeah,
Park motorcycle
syndrome. Yeah, I get it. I get it bad this time of year. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, John? And so, let me preface real quick. Sorry to step on you, buddy. I didn't mean to cut you off after
fucking
leading
asked
you
me a
there.
question.
That was my fault. Full and utter responsibility. Other than the fact that I asked you to turn my headphones down, and now it sounds weird, so I need them up a little.
I got you.
We can't say podcasting. It is a hobby and it takes up some of our time. We have to delete that one. That's
Yeah,
a given.
that
That's
one's
a
out of
given.
the-
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
I know there isn't a lot of time after that, but after that,
After that, well, seasonally, yeah, it's riding the motorcycle. Like that is how I get rid of the stress in the summertime. Pound that shit into the pavement. Overall, it's video games for me. That's kind of my hobby.
Minecraft a lot, right?
Not as much anymore as it used to be, but yeah, kind of factory-ish kind of games. I've got several.
You like the building sort of
Yeah.
ones, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you and I aren't that far off in age, but we're on real different paths when it comes to video game shit.
Because I got
noticed.
kids.
Also, you have kids. That's true. But I buy video games as if I'm a child. Is that close enough?
Close, but I bought the video games that my kids were playing. I played them.
That would make sense. Again, though, right? You're inundated with it all the time. You can see what they're doing wrong because you're an adult with full motor control and common sense and logic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see you being addicted to going and playing in some silly game. I shouldn't call them silly, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But that's what I spent all year. That is my hobby. You know, I used to enjoy skiing and snowboarding, and then that just got for me. Pete, you and I have gone snowboarding and skiing together.
Yeah.
After I moved here to Minnesota, fucking hills suck. Like I got so used to the fucking big hills.
All right. So here's how this happened.
Well,
man.
you started out at Terry Peak.
Yeah.
Out by Rapid City,
Yeah,
South
Terry
Dakota.
Peak and Deer Mountain.
Terry Peak and Deer Mountain. You're talking 1,000-foot vertical drop, right?
1,200.
1,200, yeah. And around here, you're peaking at about 280.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It takes longer to ride the chair up than it does to get back down the hill.
Oh, hands down. And if you got a line at the bottom, it's even worse.
Gentlemen, I can lay it all out here for you. All right. I was recently living in the United States, working a first year dead end, no work permit for cash job during the day. One of my wife's friends, her boyfriend worked at Afton House and said, hey man, I can definitely get you a job handing out skis in a ski shop, whatever. Like that'd be great, man. Yeah. They're doing a hiring thing today. I guarantee, just bring your ID. Come on down. He picks me up to be a nice guy and we're driving towards Afton. And for the people who don't know the area, I know it's sort of geographically specific, but I see nothing but flat farmland as far as the eye can see, folks. And I'm used to a place with a mountain where the ski hills are. Mountain with a name, Mount such and such, right? Flatland. I thought this guy was taking me out in the fucking middle of nowhere to kill me.
Yeah.
I really am like,
Yeah.
I've been in the States and I found a serial killer in the first 3 months. Great. Like, that's just perfect.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to be a made for TV movie on Lifetime. God damn it. And then I realized, no, the ski hill is just the backside of a hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which also in the summer at that time was a golf course.
Yep.
But, yeah, there's no great ski places around here.
So what about you?
Listen, man, seasonal, motorcycle in the summer, right? Hunting season don't last too long for me. I wish it was longer every year. In the wintertime, dude, I am chilling, hibernating. I usually slowly burn through a couple of books.
Yeah.
But I don't consider that a hobby. We're going to talk about that stuff in a little while here, right? I don't think that's a hobby. That's just a non-boob tube time because the rest of the time I'll be watching series with the missus, hanging out. I assume my future as of this recording is going to be a lot of playing with the dog and taking her out, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man, other than that, I used to love playing guitar. I wish I still did. I got away from it. I lost touch with it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I used to have a real good time with it. But yeah, man, like hobbies, maybe martial arts up until a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I could have said that was kind of a hobby as well, but since then, nah, man, I'm pretty boring.
What section of martial arts?
So a year ago, December, I had earned my black belt in Taekwondo.
That boy.
Yeah, and I was actually,
Nice.
I think I've mentioned on the podcast before, but I was a young man and I was on my way there, training hard, fighting on weekends, like I was into it. And then I discovered girls and marijuana, and always hated myself a tiny bit for not finishing. So as an adult, a few years back, I went back, signed back up, started off at the very beginning, white belt again as an adult, and just worked my way through it.
Nice.
But I got to admit,
well done.
I as much as I enjoyed it, and the people that I went with, shout out Master Kim's World Class Taekwondo. It was a great facility. The people were super nice. The instructors were fantastic. And they don't pay us, folks. I just really did enjoy it there. It was so strange to remember what I had done and be doing it again. Going, I know my body knows this, but muscle memory's gone after 30 years. Like, I have no idea at all. I got lucky. There was lots of other adults there. But once I had earned it again, I realized my desire was to finish something I hadn't and not so much to continue to do that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, I fell away.
Well, I was closing a book, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I
Close
wish
that
I was.
chapter.
I wish I was still involved. Like I said, I like the people, but I noticed my desire waned pretty quick after I had earned it. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I want to join jiu-jitsu, but I just don't want everybody to look at me like all I do is listen to Joe Rogan podcast.
Right.
Which I do, and I do want to take jiu-jitsu, but I also have other commitments. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, hobbies can be fun. A lot of our hobbies have inherent danger with them. Do you think that's kind of because we're guys and we do the more dangerous hobbies, or because
Well,
I just throw it out there. I don't mean to be sexist
It's
or anything,
dudes
but
being idiots. Most
like-
of our hobbies are idiotic compared to the ladies, right?
is that because we hunt for an adrenaline rush? Just kind of natural.
Okay. So, and boxing it in like that's not necessarily where I would stand with you, because my oldest daughter on a pair of skis, man, she's a thunderbolt. She's wicked. I mean, she makes a lot of the best boys look real bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, typically.
Yeah, but she did that as a competition. Like she was a competitive downhiller.
She was competitive for a little while.
Like she did that as a sport.
Yeah.
Right. Not a hobby.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. So listen, bring up a good point. Let me actually, if you don't mind, gentlemen, let me draw the line in the sand right now. Okay, this is what I was going to get at. I have a list right in front of me here and a notebook. I'm going to keep track. It's going to be hobby or not as we go through these, okay?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
If it's a sport, you could also consider it a hobby if you're doing it amateurly.
Sure.
Fair
Just
enough?
for fun.
Okay, so sport
Yeah.
and hobby, same thing, synonym, okay?
Okay.
It's hobby or not.
Okay.
Skiing, definitely hobby.
Definitely. Well, yeah. For us, we're not competing.
Right. Yeah.
For us, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
but it's, I'm going to give examples. So let me find one real quick off the list here that what I brought up was from skillcounter.com here, okay? The 37 most popular and common hobbies in the world.
Sure.
I don't know how reputable this site is, but it's got to be pretty close, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to find one that I don't consider a hobby. Watching sports comes in at number 13. I don't consider watching sports a hobby, but let's argue the point. Maybe we should have defined what a hobby is.
Well, yeah, and that I think that comes down to that two-parted part of the question was, what is it that you enjoy doing most, and what do you spend the most time doing?
Right.
Because that may not give you the same answer.
All right, my fault. I jumped ahead here.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry?
No, not sorry. Perfectly made sense. It summed it up. I realized that I've now made a mistake. We need to define what we consider a hobby.
Hobby. The definition of hobby: an activity done regularly in one's leisure time for pleasure.
Yeah, there you go.
That spells it out pretty clear.
Fuck's sakes. All right. Well, then, if that's the case, we have read definitions before and we've stood by them. Where's that one from? Just out of curiosity.
That's from the dictionary.
Which one? Webster's?
I don't fucking know the dictionary.
Isn't that not on the website?
Oxford
Dictionary is perfectly
Oxford,
good.
yeah.
We'll accept the Oxford Dictionary.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that
also,
case,
too, archaic form was a small horse or pony. So pick one.
a small horse. A hobby horse.
Yeah.
Of course. That's
Hobby
why
farm.
No, but not a hobby farm because that's somebody who does that. But a hobby
Small
horse, a little tiny horse. The kids, that's what they used to call a hobby horse.
Oh, funny shit.
Yeah, you know the rocking one? Every little
the
kid.
little
had
rocking one.
That's what they call it, was a hobby horse. That's where that came from. Interesting. Okay. Hey, that worked out really well, man. Sometimes you bring that stuff up and it's not quite as useful. But that one worked out real good.
Hey, fucking.
See, I say that, and I don't know if you've ever really brought up any facts before. I just
Never.
want to tear John down for nothing. Yeah.
I brought a few facts up. Jesus.
All right,
I've
so
done
then,
some studies.
then that changes the second part of the conversation, which will be the rest of it here. Then we can't go by what the definition is in this particular case, because that means anything anyone enjoys is a hobby. We have to go on what we consider a hobby or not. So as my example and what I started with, I don't think watching sports counts, but
No.
I'm gonna start
I
going
wouldn't
with the
either.
list, okay?
No, I don't. Yeah, I'm with
Watching
you.
sports is boring as fuck.
All right, I'm going to jump around to some of the later ones, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with number 20. It's 1 to 20. Should I start with 20 down or number one up?
No, let's go 20 up.
20.
Thank you.
20.
Yep,
So
20
the
up.
least popular.
Least
to the most.
popular up
Okay.
to-
Correct.
So starting at 20. Volunteer work. We're starting with one that's going to fucking spin me up right away here.
No, I don't think that's. I don't think that's a fucking hobby. Look, that might bring people joy, but nah, I wouldn't. That's work. That's fucking work.
Well, when you're donating your time, there's a portion of that, but no, I would not qualify that as a hobby. I would say that that's something that is really a totally different thing. I think that's a completely different
Yeah, it's not a hobby.
thing. That wouldn't get into that. That would get into a little more of a theological standpoint on that activity.
Yeah, I mean maybe for a stay-at-home wife.
I mean, yeah,
or husband.
but thinking
Or
that our audience is probably this audience is probably not exactly
I'm getting
that.
fucking
We're
canceled.
probably not.
As our 4 female listeners shake their heads in disgust, I'd shout out all 4 names, but I'm not willing to do it right now. But I know all 4 people rolling their eyes right now. If you hear this, text me. I know you're doing it. There's 4 of you, and I know all 4 of you are doing it. You better text me all the same day.
That's funny.
Episodes come out on Thursdays, by the way. All right, so we can agree. Yes, I can see the altruistic benefit of volunteer work. Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
If we fell back on that, and this is the last time I'm going to say it, but if we fell back on the definition, sure, it's something you enjoy doing in your leisure time. Yeah, that's too general, right? We're talking about things that's not. So we'll move on, all right?
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
19 is tennis. Sure. Okay,
Yeah.
we've said if it's a sport,
Yeah.
right? We can move on the obvious ones, unless John looks like he's trying to argue it here. You can do it professionally. You can do it in your leisure time for fun.
Yeah, but to me, I mean, I don't think sports are. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because that's just gonna come out wrong.
What? Come on.
Okay,
You know what? I would
that's
say
great podcasting. Don't keep your mouth shut. Just say it. Like,
right.
No,
let's be
fucking
realistic. How many people are really listening?
Tennis? Did you said tennis, right?
Yeah.
With the rackets,
That's
Venus
not
and
a
Serena
fucking
Williams. That's.
Oh, okay.
But
All
is it a
right.
hobby?
It can be a hobby.
That's all we're arguing here, right? That's why we put hobby and
Sure.
sport together, right?
Sure.
But your point is you don't believe. Let's just focus for a second. So tennis, not a sport.
Nah.
So I'm going to get into this with you for a minute, but I'm going to give you a chance first. All right? Explain
You're
to us.
generous. You're so nice.
No, we have to be because we were in
It's
this.
not a men's sport. It is a hot chick sport, though.
Okay, there's some lovely women playing tennis. There's no arguing that, right?
Yeah.
But the men that play seem to be getting after it and putting their effort in too.
Yeah, but they grunt too much.
So do the women. So what you're saying is a female grunt good,
Yeah.
male grunt uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. Sometimes you're real progressive and other times you're real South Dakota and Wyoming.
I was
Like,
just gonna say
It's
that.
real weird,
I was
right?
just gonna be like, yeah, that sounded like South Dakota,
the
right?
duality of man is alive and
That's
well in
awesome.
you, my friend. All right, so tennis. Pete, I don't know about you. I consider tennis a sport,
Absolutely.
which as we talked, hobby. Okay,
Yeah,
tennis.
and-
We're putting
Well,
tennis
I would
down.
do that. I would put all racket sports in that. I used to play racquetball and squash.
Okay,
and
this was
I'll
gonna
tell
come
you what,
up.
man. Those will get you.
Okay.
those are great sports, and there's kind of a small group following
You're
to
gonna
those
give
sports.
me a
but
fucking aneurysm.
I'll tell you what, man. As long as nobody mentions pickleball, then we're good.
Which was going to be the second thing I talked about. For the sake of argument, we'll talk about pickleball for a split second. Okay, let's just get it out of the way, right?
It's too much.
How many games of pickleball you played?
None.
None. How many, John?
No, none.
Never. Okay.
No.
I have on many occasions played pickleball. I bet in my life, I'm going to be honest, let me think. I bet you I've played between 30 and 40 games.
Okay.
Knowing you, that makes sense.
It is fun. I understand why it became really popular because if you play correctly, it's slightly less physical than playing tennis or racquetball or squash or something, right?
Sure.
Good for older people, good for people with injuries. I get it, okay? It was fun. It's ping pong, except you have to run around, kind of. It's not complicated, right? Playing one person against one person, then you're running around like tennis, that's a real workout. But 2 and 2, what are you going to do? It's not terrible, man.
Yeah, but you're going to encompass all racket sports?
I
Even
knew
badminton?
this was my first point I was going to make. Where does badminton fall in your opinion, Pete?
Oh, if it's got a league and if there's a nationally sanctioned league that would follow that particular activity, I would say
It
that
was
there's
an Olympic
probably
sport.
qualifications as a sport.
My argument used to be, first and only argument, is it in the Olympics? It's a sport with a couple of extras that haven't quite made it to the
Yep.
Olympics yet.
Yep.
But now after they added breakdancing, I can no longer use that as a solid legal argument.
Especially actually
Touche.
watching the breakdancing.
I haven't
Touche.
I haven't figured out my new steel manning position on this, but I've had to let go of the Olympic thing because it doesn't hold the same weight now.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Right.
That's
That's
fair.
Yeah, people were upset about snowboarding back in the day.
Oh God,
Break
yes.
dancing. Hey, listen, it's a lovely art or dance, whatever you want to call it. It's not an Olympic sport. The fuck.
If they would have gotten real, actual like breakdancers, it would have been completely different for them instead
Well,
of that
and-
shit show that we.
To be completely fair, there's a lot of athletic ability that has to go
If
into
they're
that style.
good.
If they're good. If they're good. Well,
If they're
you would think
horseshit
that if
like
they're
the
going
lady
to the
from Great
Olympic-
Britain who's made herself not good famous on the internet.
Well,
I mean, we all saw that disaster.
so there's that.
Didn't the
but-
local football team, one of the guys imitated after scoring a touchdown for the Vikings, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think the guy who did all the different dances this year, I think one time he imitated that. I think so.
Yeah.
All right, so we get off topic. I love it, right? So tennis, yes, we don't agree on all the racket sports. I played badminton growing up, but again, I would have considered, even though I played it for the school and all, that a hobby.
Meh. All right, what's the next
I
one?
don't have man. All right, I'll move on. All right, I'll move on. I'm going to put you on the spot later on for it. It's fine, okay? 18 and 9 are the same thing, in my opinion, kind of. But you can argue the point. Number 18 is running. I assume they mean jogging or race running of some kind. 100-meter dash, blah, 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 blah.
I'm going to be really careful about this one because Your Beautiful Bride is
Until very recently was a runner. Yeah?
She really, really enjoyed running. I believe that probably brought her a lot of joy and happiness, a lot of stress relief.
She liked to do it in her free time.
I tell you what, like I've said to a lot of guys on the job site, if you see me fucking running anymore and my age, you better start fucking running too because something's going down. Like,
Yeah.
I think between the fact of the marathon distance was based on where the guy dropped dead that ran that distance, and the fact that every dead person was once highly on Mount Everest was once highly motivated.
Yeah.
You know,
so our resident
no.
fact checker, my brother Greg, when he listens to us, can reach out and fact check me on this. But there's two versions of that story. One, he dropped dead at 40 kilometers, metric system, which, by the way, is what 29.2 miles is for
Yep.
the marathon, right? 40 was a nice even number.
Yep.
There's also the story that that person ran 40 kilometers from where the battle happened back to a city called Marathon to deliver the message about what happened, and that's how it came about. I don't know what's true. I wasn't fucking alive back then.
That's fair enough.
I've heard both of those. Maybe my brother can reach out and fact check us. We'll see which one.
All
of
right,
us
Craig,
is right.
that's on you.
Yeah, and he keeps calling you Craig with a C. By the way, I'm going to call him out every time he does it until he stops. Greg, short for Gregory.
Sorry, that's my fault.
No. Sorry
Yeah.
needed. I just love putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
It's fun
Greg,
for me.
sorry.
So glad I'm here watching this.
It's fun for me. Yeah.
You should be, Pete. Fuck
Yeah.
off. You brought this subject up. This is your fault.
All right,
I know,
running.
I know,
I'm
totally
counting
my
running.
fire.
I'm counting running as a hobby.
Yeah.
I'm making an
Yeah.
executive decision.
Yeah.
Here, okay, running is a hobby. We're going to have to burn through these.
I think running might be a hobby if you hate yourself. But sure.
Or love your health. Yeah, I see what you're getting at, though. Number 17.
Understood.
Number 17. Writing.
Writing? Like writing a book?
Poetry, songs,
Okay.
bad greeting cards, manifestos, whatever you think, man.
I guess that would be inclusive of blogging, right?
A blog would certainly count. I don't count posting. I don't count regular Reddit posts, X posts.
Yeah.
Not posts.
Yeah, not dumpster fire.
Not dumpster fire posts. Not responding to the hot button issue of the day, but actually writing something out of your own mind for consumption.
More of an editorial diary style.
And beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just fuck you, Elon Musk, or whatever the
Right.
trend is for the day.
Right.
Guess
No, I would say, yeah, that would probably be a hobby.
I consider writing
yeah.
a hobby too. I don't know that we can argue this one too much. All right?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're doing that kind of that's a solo activity that you just kind of, I'd say that was a hobby.
Yeah. All right. So we can agree on that. Okay. Now we're going to get super American here quick. I'm sorry.
Super
American. Yeah, listen, a few of these I'm going to vocally, as Pete tries to be very careful
and quiet.
putting ice. Drop your ice, man. Nobody cares.
Jesus,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's trying not to make any
it.
noise making a drink here, folks. Yeah, there you go. So stop worrying, man. It's fine. Yeah. People like the sound of bottles opening and ice going to glasses. It's ASMR for basically adults.
Right.
Love it.
All right. So number 16, eating out
No.
at restaurants. At restaurants.
Wait a second. They're considering no. Fuck off. You have to eat to live. No, that's not a hobby.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Remember, eating out was at number 16. It's gonna be important later.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, definitely not a hobby, right?
No.
You like going to restaurants and not cooking and cleaning dishes? Yeah, that's not a hobby.
If you have
That's
a
dinner.
blog that talks about your visits to restaurants, okay, yeah, fine. You can call that a hobby because then you are a reviewer of said business.
The blog
But-
is the hobby, though. The food
but
you
the
have to
blog
eat.
is
Right.
the
The
hobby.
blog.
Right.
Yeah, be honest with yourself. The blog is the hobby, right? And let me
Correct.
add on to that. Not add on. That's not the right word. Pile on to that. If you're not making money off of said blog, shut the fuck up. All right. Sorry, folks. I'm charged up today. This whole thing, what people consider hobbies, is stressing me out here. I'm so fucking pissed off already.
There's a lot.
We're 4 in and I'm annoyed already. Okay. 15. This probably won't help either. Board games. I have seen people at bars on the weekend who paid their $10 to get in to win prizes, teams of 2 and 4, to put puzzles together the fastest. Sounds like a hobby. You're doing it on the weekends. You have a team. You have strategy. You're trying to win a prize. It sounds like a hobby.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just one
Yeah.
example. People go and do other things, right? I just remember the puzzle thing from a couple bars we go to.
Okay, I'm a little hung up on something as far as the hobby. So I consider a hobby.
No, it's what we're talking about is what you consider a hobby
Right.
personally, because the definition literally includes every possible thing that makes you smile.
Right. And so board games, no, that's not a hobby in my book because you have to have somebody else along for the ride in order for you to be able to do it. To play a board game. You ain't playing a board game by
Well,
yourself.
That's not true
They
for
also
skiing.
have leagues, though.
We already said skiing counts. You don't have to ski with anybody else.
Correct.
That's what I'm getting at. Skiing counts as a hobby?
We counted skiing as a hobby.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not counting board games as a hobby because you have to have somebody else to go with you to play.
Oh, so you're saying it requires more than one person?
Yes.
Okay.
Hobby
no,
in my
hold
book
on.
is
He's
something
on to
that you
something.
can do something by yourself.
Pete, he's on to something.
That's
here, buddy.
really intriguing, actually.
He's on to something here,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah,
You
you have to be able to do it by yourself and find enjoyment for it to be a hobby.
There's no hobby you can't do on your own? That can't be right. That sounds like a really broad statement that's not going to hold up in court. You can't. You have to be able to do it on your own.
Yeah, you
for
have
it to be a hobby.
Yeah,
I'm not disagreeing. I'm trying to work it out in my head, buddy.
Yeah, the way I see it is if you're going to have a hobby, you should be able to do it solo and not require somebody else to go with you.
That's should be included in the Oxford Dictionary definition of that. You sold me so far. I can't poke a hole in that yet. And you know what I'm like with the devil's advocate. I love
You
to be
really
able to
are.
poke holes in something. Yeah. Listen, hey, honestly, dude, after 60, 70 episodes, I don't know where we're at by the time this releases. I am sorry that I'm like that. That's how my brain works. I want to pick holes in things. It's not me trying to argue with you. I can't stop myself.
I do it. We all do it as well. I do it as well. I just don't say for be devil's advocate all the fucking time.
I say that because I feel a little bad that I enjoy it. I enjoy that my brain wants to pick holes in it. When the episode finally comes out with Katie a date, we talked about my grandmother who would be happy that she gave you a little wince when she hit you with the wooden spoon or whatever. She got you. And
you
went,
made a sound.
If you made the sound, she was mad at herself for liking that, so she'd give herself a wooden. Right?
Right.
I like it. I like picking holes in it. I like somebody having their steel man point, and then they go, yeah, but what about this? Really casually, have them go, yeah, fuck. What about that? Like,
But yeah, that's the one hole I see in this, right? Like,
Well, and there are some hobbies. Take car rebuilding, for example.
we're gonna get to that.
Some
one.
guys will get to rebuild vehicles and things like that.
Sure.
Well, there are some times where that hobby will require 2 people. You need 2 people to get an engine in and set the.
not with the right tools.
Yeah, with the right tools, you definitely could. But you might need a little help on this section or that section, where you.
But in this case, I've never heard of a board game that you can play yourself.
Yeah,
Unless you're one of those douches that plays both
and
sides.
and
of a
that
game
was
of
the
chess.
zing right there. That you're right.
Yeah. Like,
All of them are 2x number of players.
right.
My brain tells me we have an answer for your riddle here. But
All right, let's.
And I think it's specific to board games because you can have hobby with dice games. I've walked into a lot of après ski bars where they have dice on the counter, and you can
Yeah.
play dice in the bar.
But
And
that's
you know,
you're not
I'm
playing a
writing
full
down
game.
the fact you just said après ski. We're coming back to that. Continue, gentlemen.
But all those dice games that are at bars are solo plays. You ain't playing against anybody else. You're playing against the bar and the pot, right?
yeah, but if there's nobody there, then the bar would have to.
You're still playing the bar.
You're still playing the bar.
Okay.
If you don't win, the bar gets your dollar or whatever, right? You're still playing
Sure.
against the bar, which also this. I don't think this comes up on the list. It's way down further. We started at 20. We're going back. Gambling is on the list here. By the way.
No fucking way. Is it really?
Now, that's one. The way I see people rolling in Canada and the United States, that might actually have to be considered a hobby. The time and money and effort people put into that.
There's a lot, right?
Yeah. All right. So moving on.
Okay.
Board games, no. I'm saying board games, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying board games, no.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing, but maybe we can find a distinction here. Number 14, playing cards.
No. Same fucking thing.
So tournaments on the weekend don't matter.
No. No, you ain't playing cards by yourself.
I'm playing Pinochle at the Legion, various Legions every other Saturday, tournaments, entry fee, winning money. We have jerseys. The ace rollers or whatever. Like,
No, I mean that's wrapped under fucking socializing. Right? You're doing it there to be amongst the people, Mr. Extrovert.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
I don't do that stuff.
so I said earlier this was the top 37 most popular. Socializing fell in at number 36, by the way. People consider it a hobby.
Okay. But
I'm going to save where podcast falls to the very end.
I mean, isn't that under that same scope?
That would be more under a social thing. The people that go into those things and show up by themselves, yeah, that might be a little different, something different. That
Yeah, card games I'm saying no to.
All right, about halfway through the list here, we're going to take a break and we're going to talk about weird hobbies for a minute. So don't get bored yet, folks. We do have a plan today. Don't worry, I do have a plan. Somebody's got to keep this train on the rails here.
Nah, fuck that. It's way off.
So, but all right.
my fault.
Yeah, no, it's what you're here for, buddy. So I'm glad it was a fun idea to bring up.
So on top of everything, I didn't mean to step on you.
No, go
I've
ahead,
got
buddy.
percentages about Americans' hobbies, and some of them tie into what we're talking about.
Okay, perfect. So if you happen to see one, speak up. Also, when we go through the weird ones, you can always jump in with some fun. Go ahead.
Board games.
Yeah.
It's on the list. Number 10, 26% of Americans say that.
That's their number
board.
one
Say
hobby?
what? Say that board
Games are their hobby.
that are their hobby.
26% of
26.
Americans.
26%.
I'm putting down
Yeah.
board games and saying that's a hobby. Then 26% is a big number.
Yep.
Dang.
Now, does that say that 26% of the citizenship is reasonably lame? Maybe.
Maybe.
Judge for yourself. All right, so I'm going to skip number 13 because it was my example of what didn't count. It was watching sports. We already talked about
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
12, it's going to be preaching to the choir here, golf.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a hobby.
it's a hobby.
I'm not good at it. I'm never doing it professionally. It costs me money, and one swing out of 20, I enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, I go
That's
out to
a
hang
hobby.
out with the fucking
Yeah,
guys.
that's a hobby.
Like, yeah.
Now, you can do it on your own. Falls into your category,
Yeah.
right? I'm just going to keep trying to fall back to your hard position here to see if I can find a chink in the armor.
Yeah, do, because
a
I'm-
crack in the armor. Pardon me, I didn't say that. We might need to bleep that out.
Nah, you're good because that's a vernacular that everybody grew up with.
Sorry for that vernacular, folks. A crack in the armor, my fault entirely. But again, I'm 46. Give me a fucking break, will you? The rules are new, and I'm catching up. Okay.
I married an Asian. We're fine.
Right. Yeah. So golf, we're good. Okay. So we're going to fall into a few here that I get annoyed with. Okay. Number 11, traveling, ? I'm on Burgundy. Traveling.
As a hobby? No, that's for no, because that's fucking rich and elite shit there.
Traveling could be Wisconsin Dells. You don't know. By the way, for everybody who's from somewhere else, Wisconsin Dells is like a hotel / amusement park / everything, so a family can go there and have a fun weekend inexpensively. It's usually like 4 or 5 hours away from everybody in the Midwest. Okay.
Pete? Traveling?
Traveling cannot be your hobby, Pete.
I think it can be. You spend money on it. you save up for it. If you do that and that's all you do, okay.
But what you're doing is getting to the airport, getting off the plane, getting in your shuttle, getting to your hotel.
I mean, that'd be a real loose qualification. I would say that would fall under a different level of relaxation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's I'm trying to define that because it seems to me there's something between sport and hobby, and it seems to me like there's something between hobby and not.
Well, and that's the thing why I said that's for the fucking rich and elite, because we all know how much it costs to fucking travel. And if you were to do it enough to consider it a hobby, it's not a once a year type of thing.
Yeah, very true. I mean, you're talking once every couple weeks.
Yeah. At least once to twice a month.
Somewhere for
Let's even just use the word something you do regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless of what your regularly is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Intentionally doing it for the point of doing it, which would be any hobby. Maybe we can agree on that, right?
Okay, yeah.
Doing it with intention because you like to do it and you make the time and effort and money or whatever.
Right.
Okay, maybe, but it's surprising that it's that high up on the list is why I was it's not the top 10, it's number 11, right?
And according to my percentage list, 29% say that it's their favorite hobby.
Jesus, that's bigger than...
Really?
So I don't think...
That's bigger than board games.
Yeah, I don't think that's... I don't think that's...
But how can we argue with just shy of a third of the population?
So I'm wondering if...
That's a significant
wondering
number.
if the statistics coming from... These are from people that they catch at home at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, we've talked before.
Tuesday.
The people who answer...
Right.
Yeah, the people who answer surveys are not representative of the entire population as a whole. Like,
yeah.
Right. You're home at a weird time of day and you have the time to make that conversation happen. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
This might be a third of maybe 3% of the population.
And could certainly be a skewed percentage based on what we just said a second ago, right?
Sure.
So there certainly is that. Okay.
Right.
All right. Traveling. Okay. Fuck you. If that's you say your hobby, it sounds a little douchey to me. It's like saying your hobby was coffee or bourbon or something.
Right.
Sorry to the people I know whose hobby is probably bourbon.
Or coffee.
Number 10, or coffee, right? Yeah. Number 10, yoga.
Dang it.
Yoga is one of these ones that, for me, fell between hobby and not, in that gray area.
You can find enjoyment from it. You can do that.
You can do it by yourself.
Yep. And I think for some people that would be the case. Yes.
God damn it. I thought that was a fuzzy on my hat. It was a gray hair. Sorry, continue, Pete. Didn't mean to cut you off.
I think it could be. Would I ever think that it would be for myself? Nah, I'm good. I'm
single straight men. Yes.
Man, you're ballsy today. Good for you, man. I'm going to be ballsy the rest of the episode. Good for you. Keep going, buddy. What did you say? I'm not even going to repeat it. I don't want to step on you. What did you say?
Single straight men. Yes. Hey, I could see that being their hobby. Just saying.
But by the rationale you're
I would want to deal with is the smell. I mean, really?
How about hot yoga?
By the rationale you're inferring,
exactly.
by the rationale you're inferring, going to the bar or clubbing would be considered a hobby. It would be the same purpose as what you were just making the intent for, right?
Well, it was for me when I was 21.
You specifically said, okay.
Yeah. I can't argue with you.
You can.
Sure. No,
you shouldn't sometimes, but you can.
Yeah,
sometimes starting an argument isn't to win; it's just to argue. Like, I've lost so many arguments that down in my soul, I won that because I kept the argument going 10 minutes after I knew I was wrong. Anyways, keep going, buddy.
Yeah. No. Yoga. That
is what we were talking about.
For those that do it, they do it regularly.
Yeah.
They're only accountable and rewarded for themselves.
The effort they put in, they have to learn to do it better. They have to put time and effort in to do it better. It
requires a skill set. It's not something that everybody does the first second that they walk in.
When you get to a certain point, you're inclined to want to teach new people, or at least enough.
Then it becomes a job, not a hobby.
Okay, so I think I think I found a crack in your argument. May I, Pete?
Please.
My example just dawned on me. We agreed that martial arts counted, yes? No, you know what? I take that back.
I don't think we talked about that.
No, we didn't. So I'm going to have to jump ahead. Number 2 is martial arts.
Wow.
So let's talk about that
I'm
quick.
surprised that went up all the way to number 2.
Yeah, can we agree? Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
Jiu-jitsu.
hey, fair.
MMA.
Touché.
I shouldn't
Touché.
just put it on Joe Rogan. Also, jiu-jitsu is great. It's fucking amazing, and MMA is super popular. So,
Right.
Yeah.
right? Can we agree that that's hobby/sport? It's definitely hobby versus not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that being said, I got my black belt in Taekwondo a year and a half ago or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's a hobby, but I couldn't have done that on my own. I needed my instructors. I needed my training partners, my sparring partners. I couldn't have done it on my own to the level that I learned. You can't read in a book. No matter how specific the description is, you couldn't learn martial arts from a book. You need another person to learn. It's not learning the rules. It's not learning the rules of how it goes. It's not learning how you do it. You have to see someone do it. I couldn't have done it by myself.
You could have watched a video.
That's not by myself. That's a recording of the person.
Nope, that's by yourself. If you're watching a video, you're by yourself.
It sounds like he's splitting hairs to make his point, Pete. The other person had to make the video, yes?
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with me. Sorry, I should just say yes.
No, you're good.
Shut up, Pete.
I needed so many other people to be able to do that.
So let me jump right
Yeah, jump in, man.
in with
we're
you
arguing about
here.
this. This is off the
And-
rails today.
and I'm not intentionally calling John and calling devil's advocate on it. However,
I got him to say
there
it.
are things that cannot be learned within some skills, whether it be mixed martial arts or something else. There are some things that cannot be learned without doing. And for a mixed martial arts or any martial arts of anything, learning what it feels like to get kicked in the face or in the ribs, or learning what that pain feels like, is not something you can do yourself.
Oh,
You need
I
to
beg to
be
differ.
in that contact point.
I think I got it.
Yeah.
Hold on a sec.
I can piss somebody off in the bar and figure out that pain real quick.
My young
Well,
friend.
you can, but in mixed martial arts, understanding what to do with that and how to react and how to change to get to that next level where you're winning fights instead of
Pete made
being
an
part of them.
excellent point, but I have the nail in the coffin.
Okay.
I got it. My brain has wrapped itself around it.
Come on.
Could you have learned to be an electrician from a book?
Yep.
To the quality of work that you do today without the guidance of the few journeymen and journey people who helped us out to learn our trade, to do better, nicer, do it this way, don't do it that. Could you have really learned that from a book? And again,
I don't-
somebody would have had to write the book.
I can't agree with you on that one, Jason, because the work is not the hobby. We're not talking about
No,
work.
but some people do electronics and things like that as a hobby, right? We're generalizing as electricians, but some people do electrical type work as a hobby.
Yeah, but
Building little things at home, 3D printers. I want to make this. I want.
doing the test is actually certainly by yourself.
It sounds like he's splitting hairs again. I'm glad we got a third person here today.
I don't get Jason this spun up and really dialed in on something very much.
I know.
This is actually kind of surprising.
All right, so as I promised,
I'm
folks,
good at that part.
You guys are both doing really well today. It's the fact that you're taking it kind of calmly that's also sort of annoying me a tiny bit. All right. So I jumped the gun because number 10 was actually yoga. I said we are going to take a break and take another quick tangent. So
Yeah.
I'm going to move us over to that because we had to
Yeah.
skip a couple because of things we were talking about.
Weird.
So weird. Okay.
Hobbies.
Weird hobbies. We've talked about some kind of common ones. The ones in the top 9 that are left, a couple of those annoy the fucking shit out of me too, but we're going to get to that. All right. If I said weird hobbies to you, Pete, one that you consider, we've already said we're not going by the Oxford Dictionary, right? If someone come up to you and said, oh yeah, this is my thing, this is what I do, what's an automatic one in your head like, okay, this is fucking weird?
Well, there's one that I'm not definitely going to talk about because I know that there's some people that listen to this podcast.
You can write it down and pretend I said it. Keep going, buddy. Keep going.
Okay, if we're gonna ask that, we're gonna go off the deep end here. Basket weaving.
Yeah, that's fucking odd.
That's
That's
kind of weird.
weird.
And you know what, though?
That's
there
old
are
school.
people, yeah, totally. But there are people that go to craft fairs and they travel and they do.
All right, so
Yeah.
Okay,
hobby that you can turn into a business we haven't come across yet, though. So you bring up basket weaving, right? We're going to talk about some weird ones here for
Sure.
a while, right? That makes sense because if you enjoy your hobby and people will buy whatever it is you're making, I'm going to bring my weird one up later that I don't expect is ever going to work for me. But I mean, that's got to count as a hobby. You just happen to get suckers and hippies and yuppies to buy whatever it is from you. No offense to basket weavers, but that's who's buying baskets
right.
Right.
at a Renaissance fair / on
Sure.
the side of the
Yeah,
road
yeah.
flea market. Like, yeah.
Sure. I don't think we can really go there with the whole starting your own business because, to use your own example, you got your black belt, Taekwondo. You could start your own dojo.
Actually, all right. I don't want to be the one splitting hairs now. No, I can't. I'd need to be quite a few levels up before I would be allowed to ask for permission to do that.
Yeah, but you can teach.
Aren't- Isn't it third level?
But it is third level, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Saying, Pete's on it, man.
Sorry.
Fist bump. No, be sorry. That's great. I was trying not
Excuse
to.
me, what just happened there?
I
I
was
blacked
trying
out for
not
a
to
minute.
inundate him with information that, yeah. No, you have to get to at least
Again,
that level,
he's
right?
being condescending.
But I'm trying not to be. I really am.
It's your nature. Fuck off.
And it is my nature, actually. That is really uncomfortably true. Me and the devil are going to be real tight one of these days. Hopefully later rather than sooner. Well, you said what? All right, come over here and talk to me for a minute.
Yeah, but I don't think you can. Being able to start a business from a hobby, I mean, that's everybody's dream, right? Because if you do
That's
a hobby
what
that
we're
you
trying.
enjoy,
Yeah.
That's what we're trying, right?
right? Like you want to start a business from your hobby.
Yep.
Of course. So, I mean, that doesn't matter. That's splitting hairs on a whole different level.
That's been your whole thing today, I can tell. All right.
Weird. Let's get back to
Yeah,
this.
what would you
Weird hobbies.
consider weird, John?
Yeah, what would you consider
Yeah,
weird?
Skin squirrels.
Oh,
I think
That's
that
weird
could
and
be
psychotic.
You went South
simplified to
Dakota on us
simply-
again.
That could be simply just hunting squirrels for whatever reason.
Yeah, skin and squirrels. Making that, if you're finding a lot of enjoyment in that, that's weird and psychotic.
It's oddly specific.
it is a kind of oddly specific. I mean, you wouldn't say coonskins. I mean, because they make coonskin hats, and that's
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
coonskins.
that's what makes it weird because it's you don't see a squirrel hat.
Yeah. Nice. Well done. Yeah, that was a good call. That was a weird one, man. I'm in.
That's fucking weird.
All right,
That's
so
very weird. How about you?
I want it. Listen, boys, I really want to give you one answer. It's a two-way tie, and I thought about it a lot before we did this. It's a two-way tie. Okay, for the people who are not familiar, but I'm sure the both of you are. I'm confident. The Lord of the Rings book or movie series, right?
Sure.
The elves in that speak their language, which is uncreatively called Elvish. There's a large group of people out there that are learning Elvish. And here's where I'm upset by it, okay? These are groups that are using their rudimentary AIs that now this thing is being created to use all the references from all the books and movies to prove what is the actual correct version of this elf language. And when their AI and this AI doesn't match, they have arguments and conferences to decide which one is correct. That drives me fucking crazy.
Look,
So now I'm going to have the opposite question come up of not what do people that work do for a hobby, but what do those hobby people that are in those discussions and doing those things about fictitious fantasy things, what do they do for work?
they're data processors.
They have. I have to assume the people
I should
that,
not.
No. I assume listen. It's a valid question. Okay. I assume the people who have to be overly creative, quote unquote, at home are people that their job is so non-thought related and mundane during the day that that's their overcorrection.
data
You know,
input
that's actually
specialists.
not too bad. That's pretty astute.
I assume
Really,
that's what
when
it
you
is.
think about
Your
that,
day-to-day
it really
life
is.
is so non-thought provoking and benign that you go the opposite way on your internet and Twitter and X or whatever you want to call it at home and get your opinion out there, because even if you said it out loud at the top of your lungs at your job, they probably still wouldn't remember your name. So sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm really not. So so I said it was a two-way tie. It's
Okay.
the people who are learning and arguing and using computer programs to figure out what the real words are for this fake elf language from a Tolkien novel from, I
Yep.
think, 68 years ago or something, right? So it's that and furries. I got a big problem with furries, man.
Furries isn't a fucking hobby. Let's
No,
start that.
hold on. That's the problem. I think it is.
No, it's not. Furries is not. Furries is a fucking psychological condition. There, I said it.
If there's a
Okay.
if there's a convention for the thing that you love, fishing, hunting,
Nope.
remodel,
Nope.
there's
Get
furry
fucked.
conventions. So
Nope.
you're saying that collecting comic books is not a hobby? Yes, it is.
No. I'm talking very specifically about furries. Get fucked. Nope. Nope. Shouldn't even fucking exist.
They have stories, they have blogs, they have people who are famous for it. They have OGs, they have clubs and groups and books and blogs and
Hey
Reddit
man,
posts.
if you love
and-
furries, you do you, boo boo.
no,
Are you
that
trying
changes,
to tell us something?
That changes our dynamic of our
Yeah,
podcast
no,
completely.
listen, boys, I'm not defending furries. I brought it up because I
sounds
said
like
it's
you are.
no. I brought it up because I said I thought it was one of a tie of the two most ridiculous things I can think of. However,
Okay.
I can think it's ridiculous, but I bring it up because this one in my head, although crazy, I'm legitimately concerned about the people that this is their hobby. Sorry if you're a furry. I don't fucking get it. DM me. Explain it to me. I have an open mind, but I don't fucking get it.
No, I don't have that open of a mind.
Send it
don't
to me.
DM.
Jason at isawpodcast.com.
Don't let me see it.
Yeah. I'm willing
not
to have
that
an open mind,
open-minded.
but there's a lot of similarities is all I'm saying, buddy.
Look, when it comes to furries, okay. For the love of God, I'm gonna try to understand this. There's conventions. There's litter boxes. There's
Allegedly.
there's
Allegedly.
there's leashes,
Allegedly.
collars.
Oh, there's definitely those.
That just sounds like a bad BDSM movie.
It does sound to me. So here's what I think. Listen, this it's not the most gentle thought in the world. I've admitted so many times in this podcast, folks, the dark thoughts come out occasionally, right? It seems to me like some sort of cross between weird adult sex stuff and Paw Patrol, and I don't even have kids, and I'm aware of that. They all look like full-grown weird characters from Paw Patrol, and it sounds to me like people who have some real
Or Blue's Clues.
or Blue's Clues, wires crossed, right? It seems like wires crossed.
Here's no. I hate to tell you guys this, and I hate to correct both of you. It's not Paw Patrol. It's not Blue's Clues. I want you guys to spend any amount of time watching any anime.
Do I have
what it
to?
is. That is what it is.
Yeah.
Any
yeah.
anime, that's what furries come from.
Okay, you're more in this world than I am.
Unfortunately,
You're more in this world than I am.
Unfortunately, that's where it's at, and frankly, no. That's just no. Like,
All right, we beat this horse to death.
yeah, if we keep going, I will get canceled, and this podcast will
Yeah.
end. Let's not
We could
do
argue
that.
this one. Okay, we can.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
so John and I obviously agree. Furries are annoying as shit. Pete, how did you weigh in on this real quick, and then I'm going to move us on.
Oh no, I don't want to know if I.
All right, you don't have to.
It beats just shut down.
I mean, it's only the
I
entire
might go into
internet.
convulsions if I answer
Yeah,
anything.
it's
and we
only the
need to move
entire
on.
internet worldwide that could potentially hear what you say.
Right. No.
Which that just dawned on me. That's interesting. So one of the weird ones that came up in the list here, we just talked about it. Interesting the other day. Hobby horses, fake. I'm looking at it right now. Fake horses, fake fur, all that. People put them in their own little pen. They brush them. They take them out, walk them around, holding them, showing them like a dog, but it's a fake hobby horse.
Do they have like rollerblade wheels on them?
The ones that I'm looking at are just all fake ones looking over like a fake corral. I can't see their feet.
Okay.
But that came up immediately. Apparently, there's a Finnish Finnish as in Finland, hobby horse championship once a year.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I heard of. No. That's also fucking weird. Look, if you're gonna play with
We started
fake
this
horses,
saying these are weird. Okay.
yeah. If you're gonna play with fake horses, play with fake horses. Don't bother having a competition. If you're gonna get serious about it and have a Finnish championship, make sure they're real fucking horses. Jesus Christ. They make little tiny miniature horses, for the love of God.
But see, here's what you're forgetting.
Those people are
Possible.
also not responsible enough to actually pick up the crap.
And we've
that
got a
those
whole
horses
generation of people
produce
who are
and
terrified of anything.
have no idea what it would be like to feed
This is
a bale of
totally-
hay to an animal. Like
This is
this-
the DEI
that's what-
bullshit.
Yeah, of course.
Urban kids need to know what it's like to have a horse. Bitch, please.
I'm not sure. Not sure.
I'm crazy happy how this conversation has gone so far, folks. I'm so happy. I'm not even looking to see what time we're at now. If we got to split this into 2 episodes, I'm good.
We're not splitting this one.
Yeah.
This is gonna be great.
All right, so let me move down the list of things
Such an
that
instigator.
that were considered weird hobbies. It's amazing this comes up. I promise, folks, both these are coincidental. I didn't plan this at all.
And these are all still in the top 10, right?
I found a website that just said 30 weird hobbies in the North America, and we've hit number 4 is competitive dog grooming. I shit you not. Hold on. This is for this is from happierhuman.com/weird-hobbies/WA2/. This is I didn't plan this. Competitive dog grooming is number 4.
Wow. That's impressive.
you know, and so dog grooming, and there's also equitation hobbyists that it's
Equus, that'd be horse. He's talking
yes,
about
that
horse.
would be horses.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out what part of that equitation.
Saddle seat equitation, hunter jumper, as well as
Yep.
forgot what the horse and buggy, where they have the.
To fucking speak, use your words, sir.
I'm sorry, I forgot the actual term
Okay.
of what it is,
Dude, hey,
But
may I help you out quick?
Yes.
So your brain doesn't crack in two?
Thank you.
You're talking about harness racing.
thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes. So there's plenty of people that spend tons of time and money doing that, and dog grooming
Horse
is
people are
like
crazy.
Well,
just
no,
the
again,
second step down.
that's what we're arguing now. We gave up on the Oxford version, right? We're talking about our own opinions.
Yeah.
I think anything to do with when I say wild animal, I mean an animal left at its own devices that would be wild. That could be a cat, a dog, a rabbit, right? If you're grooming and training and going to hobby/sport, I'm not going to say dog grooming or dog. What do you call it when they go to the kennel club show? Dog showing?
Yeah,
Hobby
dog show.
showing.
That's
yeah.
not a sport. It's a hobby. Don't
It's a
argue
hobby.
with yourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that one's not a hobby.
Anyways, I'm just saying.
Poor dogs don't have a choice in it, but whatever.
Although you got to think though. Yes, I understand what you're saying. It seems to me those dogs are probably living pretty great lives.
Those dogs live really good, and
They're
the
not
horses,
beating
and the
those
horses
dogs,
too.
right?
Some.
Some, sure, right?
A
Some.
lot of the ones that end up in show are very, very well taken care of.
Some.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my internet is going crazy.
Oh, just so you know, side tangent, fun fact for us. We have been listened to in 12 different countries. This
Is that
last
what
week.
we're up to now? Nice.
This last week.
Nice.
12 different countries. That's a good number.
Yeah.
What are
beautiful.
some of the weird ones that? So
The weird countries?
Morocco came up, didn't it?
No.
No. Which ones came up?
Peru.
Peru is a weird one. Hello, shout out, hey, whoever's listening in Peru, we love you. Reach
All
out.
right. yeah.
Malaysia.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, those are probably the super weird ones, but Brazil. That one's a super weird one too. United Arab
Except
United Arab
that's
Emirates,
United Arab Emirates.
Emirates.
Wow,
Did I say Arab?
you are so ready for a Trump rally.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You could walk right in, dude. Sunglasses on your hat and all.
Yeah. Russia, Ukraine. Hey, they might be at war, but at least they're both listening to us.
Hey, whether you're in Russia or Ukraine, we both hope you win. Reach out and let us know.
South Africa, United Kingdom.
I think. Oh, that was it. Not
The Brits.
Morocco. South Africa. We figured out who South Africa was. Shout out, my brother.
Yep.
I'm not going to say anything else. We figured out who South Africa was.
Yeah.
We
I mean,
hope
New
you
Zealand,
both
like,
win. I just spit up my water
I
on my
think-
pants right there.
If I heard something right at side
Yeah.
tangent,
I'm going to do one or two more here, and then we're going to be back to the end of the top 10 list or the top 20 list of the actual popular ones.
Sure.
Number 5 on the weird list here again. If you want to look this up so you know I'm not screwing with you, please do. happierhuman.com/weird-hobbies-wa2/. Look this up. Painting with blood is on number 5. Who the fuck is working at this website? I mean, holy Jesus Christ.
I don't know, but they might know Megan Fox or Machine Gun Kelly.
Billy
Wow,
Bob Thornton.
Nice way to
Whoops.
fucking spin it there. Jesus, Pete.
Okay, you know what? No. I can't even try to
can't-
have a discussion.
Right?
What fucking website is this? I'm sorry, folks. I just looked up literally 30 weird hobbies. I thought it'd be fun stuff to talk. Number 5 is painting with blood. Apparently from the famous paintings made by From Blood, The Anguished Man. It doesn't say who actually did it here. Sorry. I'm sorry I said this website twice. Don't look this up. This is...
Yeah,
You're part
and-
committed.
and
You've
for
taken
those-
a lot of
Oh,
them
no,
up
hold
there.
on. No,
For
listen,
those
no.
that hadn't seen it before, evil is real and it does exist,
Hold
ladies
on,
and
no.
gentlemen.
Look, I'm going to keep going down the list. I just got to 6 out of curiosity. This is complete. I said this website name twice. Folks, don't listen to this website. Don't look at it. Number 6 is chlorophyll painting.
How the fuck does that work?
Wow.
7 is learning functional languages. That should have been 3. Okay. Onomatics is the study of the history of names, especially people's names. Okay, this website is... Number 9, making steampunk jewelry. Okay.
That's funny.
Number 10, corrosion cat. This is a yuppie, hippie, hipster website. I'm sorry, folks. Please don't listen to me repeating that website. We're going to bleep it out.
Okay,
I'm going to ask John with love
That's
to
a
bleep that out.
website donated to word salads.
Yeah, don't give... Yeah, I'm going to get John to bleep that out. I'm
will
happy
take
it's
care of
not
that.
there. That's fucking brutal. I'm sorry, folks.
Have you heard of this hobby? Weird hobbies?
Yeah.
Extreme ironing.
Do you mean like clothes?
Yeah.
Really?
Explain, if they have it there, what extreme ironing is. For time?
Let's see here.
Is it like hot
says,
dog eating?
Combine the thrill of extreme sports with the satisfaction of perfectly pressing clothes as you take your ironing board to remote and challenging locations. Picture yourself atop a mountain peak ironing your clothes while adrenaline rushes through your veins. It's not just about looking sharp, it's about conquering nature and style.
Can you imagine going through the airport with that special sized bag for your ironing board that you are so used to? I mean, would gator cases be involved in how that gets put together? Like, is it a quick release system where they just show up and they open the bag and whoosh?
That's
Okay,
funny
I
shit.
wish we did video because you both just did the exact same hand motion at identical times. I wish we did video. We're gonna do it in the future, folks. Okay,
Are there timed events?
my brain, my brain is splitting in two on what question to ask first. I'm saving the audio of you. That's the start of our 100th episode, buddy, is you saying those exact words of the definition of extreme ironing. Oh my God. Remote and challenging locations, adrenaline rushing through, ironing a shirt. But I'm doing it on a cliff edge in Montana. Wait, what? So John's got his hand in the air. There's definitely competitions. When's the next competition, buddy?
Extreme Ironing Championships.
What state?
World Championships.
World Championships. So this is
Competing countries: Austria, Australia, Chile, Croatia, Great Britain, and Germany.
Thank God it's not one of ours. Isn't this like when there's a mass shooting and you find out it's not a like weird white dude our age? Like you're like, yeah.
Ironing championship sections. Urban involved ironing in, on, around a broken down car. Water, a fast flowing river was the location for the station. Competitors would use surfboards, canoes, or rubber rings to help them. Forest, ironing at the top of a tree did not suit all the competitors.
did not suit all of the
competitors.
beautiful.
Was suit in quotation marks just
No.
at a sick here? Okay, go ahead.
Lotta, a purpose-built climbing wall which ironists had to climb and iron a t-shirt.
This might be the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
here's
sure.
more. Here's another one. You guys are going to love this. Ferret legging.
Okay,
a hobby.
Hold on.
Ferret legging.
Give me a sec. Listen, you hit me in the head with a bat and then handed me a tire iron. Hold on a second. Yep. One thing at a fucking time here. If I say anything that seems incorrect, let me know.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. The ironing thing. It is basically doing some sort of physically challenging area or climb or something and then ironing in that position.
Or while you're doing it.
And I assume you have to do it to some sort of standard-ish.
I'm assuming
it would have
so,
to
yeah,
look
yeah.
okay. You bring it down, it looks like a crisp iron shirt.
Yep.
That's officially one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
Yep. Yeah. Competitors were tested on their abilities to cope with 5 arduous ironing tests on a variety of fabrics in different environments ranging from rocky to forest, urban to water.
Oh, sure, because when you climb a tree, synthetics will be more hard, right? Like, yeah.
Definitely.
You're out in the elements.
yeah,
It's not
absolutely.
climate controlled, right? Yeah, synthetics will be way harder. You're
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You get a silk shirt for the one in the river. Like, yeah, I get that. Yeah. That's the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
Wow.
Right.
Give me another one. That was great, man. Give me
Ferret
one.
legging. Ferret
Yeah,
legging.
ferret legging. Sorry, yeah, ferret legging.
Okay.
Ferret legging.
How long you can keep a ferret on your leg before it tries to get on the ground or go past the waist?
The peculiar sport involves competitors who try to endure having live ferrets trapped inside their pants for the longest possible time.
I'm
Peculiar
sorry.
sport
Can you do
of-
me? Can you do me a favor, man? Can you say that once more, 25% slower?
This peculiar sport involves competitors who try to endure having live ferrets trapped inside their pants for the longest possible time.
Wow. Okay. Is there a league?
Where's the World Championships?
I don't know if there is
Okay.
one. This one's...
Yeah. Just so you know, folks, I looked it up. Peculiar means special. It bugged me when you said it the first time, and then the second time, like, well, I better look that up. Yeah, peculiar apparently means
not
special.
peculiar.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I got him to say it twice. It was that one word, and did he mean peculiar? Because peculiar would also make sense.
That would make sense.
with the rest of that
totally.
fucking description.
Absolutely.
This is how far back this goes. In 1972, the ferret legging record stood at 40 seconds.
Wow. Would you ever do that?
A few years later, the record has risen to over 1 minute and eventually 90 minutes in 1977.
90 minutes.
Look, I ain't keeping a ferret in my pants that goddamn long. Just saying.
What was his name? Famous actor from way back. There was some talk of him liking gerbils during the lovemaking time. Hugh Grant, maybe?
I don't know.
I was just wondering if he was the
one.
one who had the 90-minute record. That's remarkably uncomfortable. Okay, ferret. They call it ferret legging. Legging, as in your leg, obviously, right? Okay.
Wow.
That's ridiculously fucked up.
Right?
Okay. I can't think of anything funnier than that, so we're going to move back to the rest of the top 10.
So,
Ferret
okay,
legging.
of all those weird ones that we just looked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's my question. How many people have you run into that you've gotten to know just a little bit on the job site? Other trades, other different divisions of people that shower after work. How many of them that you run into and talk to have any of those
A bunch.
weird ones?
A bunch.
Really?
But I know 3 flat earthers personally.
Okay.
People who I like well enough that if they
Yeah.
called me and like, hey man, I'm in a spot, I got to move, I got to whatever, I'm in jail. All right, fuck, I'll put my pants on. 3 legitimate ones. Their opinion is ridiculous, but they're good people.
Oh, yeah.
I know 3 that believe that. I know 2 people who are furries and go to the conventions. That's why I brought furries up. That's why it bugs me.
Interesting.
Sorry if you're listening, kids. I think it's fucking crazy. I
Sure.
don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't know any. I don't get to know the guys I work with that much. I'm not asking them. Hey, the closest I do ask guys. I'm like, hey, big plans for the weekend? Not one of them is
Sure,
always,
sure,
I'm
sure.
going to a furry convention. Not once, not ever.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, same.
I'm jealous.
Same.
I'm jealous. I wish I had never talked to those two people. They're both great people. They really are.
Yeah,
sure they
definitely.
are.
But I
absolutely.
wish they had just not told me.
Yeah. Be like, nah, I'm doing stuff.
Like, ah, damn it.
I'd be
Like,
more than
really?
happy to be the neighbor of the serial killer who goes, I had no idea. Seemed like a perfectly nice guy.
Maybe you are.
Yeah, I want to have that with the furry people who know me, but unfortunately, the cat's out of the bag, or in this case, I think a wolf and a fox. As I audibly roll my eyes, I think a wolf and a fox, which also seems mildly uncreative, but I digress. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
So back to the top 10. We're going to get into
Okay.
this. So it's number 9 and down
Here we
here,
go.
okay? Last one we had was number 10 was yoga, okay? We already had talked about number 9 because I lumped it in with running. Number 9 was walking, okay?
Sure.
Okay.
So-
Yeah.
So we're doing
I would
8
lump those
down,
in,
and we
for
also
sure.
already said martial arts was 2, so we've got 7 left, all right?
Sure.
Number 8 is team sports. Absolutely a hobby, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I know it doesn't fall into your thing, but
It
if you
doesn't.
practice,
Correct.
if you practice on your own, which is virtually every sport,
Mm-hmm.
not all, but virtually, wouldn't that kind of fall in? As we talk, tough to do badminton by yourself, but other racquetball sports where you've got a wall.
Yeah, but
Maybe-
you can't do football, you can't do soccer, you can't do hockey by yourself. Practice by yourself.
Music is the same way. I
can't
can tell
agree
you
with that.
nobody would hire me to come up and just play drums to music in my ears
Yeah, but-
for a 4-hour set. Definitely not. I need the other guys to fill in the guitar and
Yeah,
the
but-
keys and the bass and
Yeah,
the
but
vocals.
you can
and-
practice your guitar by yourself.
Yes. Yes, you can. And
You
I
can practice
practice
your
drums by
by
myself.
yourself.
For sure.
Can
no
you
question
practice
about
your
it.
hobby by yourself? Which unfortunately throws a wrench in my whole martial
Yeah,
art thing because I
no.
could practice by myself, but only once I had learned from another person. It's a gray area.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and okay, so let me get back to this martial arts part.
Martial art.
So when you're doing your taekwondo, right? Now, when you go there on what nights of the week were you there? Wednesdays?
It had varied, but
Okay, so
Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday was pretty regular
okay, so every time you go in there, you're practicing.
every time.
Every time.
Mm-hmm.
You're not practicing by yourself.
I did practice fairly often by myself.
You're usually sparring with somebody,
but,
right?
But at home, I mean.
Yeah, and sparring isn't every time.
There's two.
Sometimes you're
There's
on
two
bags,
parts to martial
sometimes
arts,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's the competing against other people and practical skill part, which also includes sparring, if that's your thing, right?
Right.
And then there's the form, muscle memory
Yep.
forms, right?
Yep.
You can practice that by yourself,
That's-
and I did very, very often. Every half movement required me to learn a new set of those.
Right. Right. Okay, well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You're just clarifying because you want to defend
Yeah.
your position. It's all good, man. I'm trying to do the same thing over here. No shade, my man.
No shade.
but team sports.
Yeah, you know what though? There's leagues just like
I don't consider football a hobby.
I didn't come up with this. This is not an
one of my friends still, even at age 40, closer to 50, still plays flag football. And they have leagues and they have amateur stuff, and they are going to show flag football tournaments at the Super Bowl. They have done that before.
I practiced avoidance techniques for different styles of kicks by myself. You could practice dekes by yourself in football.
Sure.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Fair enough.
It's a hard
enough.
I
I
think
mean-
the point is it's a hard definition to pin down, right?
yeah, it is.
Especially
It
when
is.
guys like us are like, "Fuck you, that sport's lame," or "That hobby's lame." We don't count that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
get
right,
bent.
so team sports, we talked about that. 7, fishing. Sure,
yeah.
I can
That's-
I can walk past fishing. I
Yeah.
still early and often have said I think ice fishing is ridiculous, but if you enjoy it, good on you. Fishing
Right.
counts, right?
Yeah.
All right, that was number
And
7.
and there's plenty of people. There's gear that goes with it, and
Right.
Yeah. We'll call that one.
You got to be careful about the gear thing though, because people who knit use gear. People who
You're
crochet.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to be careful about this gear talk, right?
Absolutely,
It could include things that
absolutely.
you don't really want to. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 6. Here's where we're gonna have a little contention quick, and then we'll actually be able to burn through the last 4 pretty quick. Number 6 is video games. John, would
Yeah,
you like
I mean-
would you like to lead or would you care to retort? I'll give you your choice.
Look, I would say video games is definitely a hobby. It's kind of a solo. It doesn't have to be solo. It can be. It can be with other people. But yeah, it's just something to kind of kill a few brain cells and make the world go silent for a hot minute.
I would agree. I mean, as a little bit more of a widespread statement, I would say it's definitely more of a hobby. Now, I have an acquaintance family member through my in-laws that one of the young men that I know that he actually makes his living full time playing video games. But
I know
he's
a couple.
also, ranked player number 3 in the world for the people that do this the best.
And he's part of the
and
1%.
Yeah, part of the 0.0001%. Yeah, but absolutely. I mean, you can turn your hobby into something that pays you, but
No, I don't know why
for
you're
the
pointing at me.
majority of the
because
people
you were
that are doing
argumentative
it,
about it before. That's why I'm pointing at you. I said your hobby can be a job, and you were trying to say, no, that's just a job. That's why I was raising my hands like, let's see. Fucking Pete agrees. He didn't agree earlier, but now...
Didn't I just fucking say that you can make it? Most people's dream is to make money from their fucking
This
hobby.
has been
It
my
is.
funnest podcast in 6 months.
Get fucked.
Just
Yes.
a little bit.
So video games, yes. I
You're saying
consider it
video
a
games is
full-time hobby.
I also agree.
But
it's
as
a hobby for
as a
people.
general purpose, you would say that it's a hobby.
Yeah.
Absolutely, without
I
question.
agree. Yeah, I wanted to see if I could spin you up for a sec, but I actually totally agree. Yeah, I use it as a hobby. Like, yeah, for sure I do. All right.
fuck outta here.
So I'll move on. All right. Number 5. It may not resonate with us, gentlemen, but don't have a snap reaction. Number 5 is gardening. Sure it is.
I know a lot.
Yeah.
Look, unfortunately, I can only speak to my history. My grandmother loved it.
Yeah.
I think it's a dying hobby. I think
Yeah.
it's fading fast because I just don't think people, one, have time to do it anymore, and two, really have the want to.
We're
But
going to
yeah.
be resurrecting at my house this year. We're going to be resurrecting.
Yeah,
that.
my spouse has
We're
been
gonna
great
be
since
doing
we
a
moved
garden
into this
year.
place.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have tomato plants every year. We have a bunch of herbs. We got a couple that keep mosquitoes away.
Yep.
Hey, I love it. She puts plants in. I'm more. You pick them out. She even goes to one of these early planting parties in like March,
Yeah.
and then they put them in the greenhouse and let them grow for a while. She goes and picks them up. I love it.
Yep.
Spend as much money. I hear guys complaining. Oh my God, she spent another $100 on flower. Does your property look nice?
Right.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Look,
exactly.
I've
And you
worked
know
with-
what? I've heard that weeding plants, and I can't say that I have experienced any different myself. Weeding plants can be absolutely cathartic.
No,
Without, I mean, it can be.
Dude,
it
my
can
wife
be
goes out.
so healing.
Yeah, my wife goes out, trims the plants, feeds the plants, talks to the plants, and when she comes in after her little 10, 12-minute routine, she's in a better mood.
Yeah, she feels great. She feels
Yeah.
way better.
Go
Yeah.
talk to the plants.
Yeah.
Can I help you?
Yeah.
Let me know what I need to do. I'm more
you're
than happy.
not allowed to help her because she's out there going, look, guys, you know what Jason's fucking doing now?
Actually, I'll be honest with you. She the same way that I wouldn't tell her, hey, can you mow the lawn like this? Can you trim that? Right?
Yep.
She handles that part. I handle the lawn maintenance.
Yep.
But at the same time, if she's like, I need half the wheelbarrow or the little yard cart, fill up half of that with half this, half that, and mix it up. Okay.
Yep.
I'll spin the shovel for 10 minutes. I'm fine. Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm here to help because it definitely makes the property look better. So, okay, gardening, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Yes,
sure.
yes, all right.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
say, unfortunately, it's a dying craft. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you spend money at it, which you're going to spend money at doing your hobbies no matter what.
I tell you what, I know we want to move on here, but I've
No,
thought
take your
about
time, buddy.
fucking starting a garden in my house.
Yeah.
Every time I do, I talk to the wife. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I should just get the fucking tiller and just till that up back there and just plant our little garden. And then I look at it and go, I don't have time to take care of it. And neither do you, and the kids aren't going to do it. So that's out.
And if you're
Yeah.
not willing to put
Yeah.
in a mildly small hand-built greenhouse or rabbit fence that goes at least a foot into the ground,
Yeah.
you're only going to get what the animals don't eat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Squirrels from above, birds from above, and rabbits from below, man.
Yep.
And voles and squirrels and chipmunks, little
Yeah.
bastards. That's
Fucking
why.
assholes.
Listen, we got a new dog because we waited more than a year since our last dog to make sure we weren't just filling a hole.
Yep.
And we enjoyed a summer without the need of rushing home with the dog, right?
Right.
But we're super happy we got a dog in the house. But I'm also really looking forward to the day that dog is looking out that door and starts to growl. I'm like, what's going on? And I get up and there's goddamn squirrels or a rabbit out there and watch him run them little bastards right out of my yard. I'm really looking forward to it. Go get them.
That's funny.
People were trying to warn me like, oh, you got a pit bull terrier. They got a really strong prey drive. I'm like, good.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
That's strongest ever, I hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
If I didn't have a hound dog, I can tell you that I'd let my hound dog loose, and I know that my mole and my pocket gopher issue on my property would not be as rampant as it is.
Right.
But since he is a hound dog, he's like, I have about 16 million scents that I can pick from. What's the most interesting? Doesn't matter how far away it is. I'll just follow it.
Yeah. Yep.
And he can pick stuff up from miles away, and he a couple times he's got out and gone, and he's miles away before he realizes where he's even at. So we don't have the luxury with the hound dog to be able to just let him loose, but he would. And I can tell you that our backyard area where our dogs do go and run free, there's no sign of ground squirrels or grounds. There's no sign of anything like that.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that very time.
Yeah.
I want to look out my yard and go, look, not a piece of rabbit shit as far as the eye could see.
Right. There's dog crap out there for sure, but
more than happy to help the dog with that.
No
I'm
problem.
here for it. All right, so gardening was number 5. Number 4, you got to think in the grand scheme of things, and back to what we talked about the people who actually are the ones answering telephone surveys. Woodworking. Number 4 is woodworking.
Arts and crafts.
It's
you know
a
what,
real
though?
broad. You could be painting the letter A for Abby's room, and could consider kind of woodworking.
Right.
But does it count as a hobby or not? That's the question we're asking here. I say yes initially.
I'm going yes.
I'm going yes because, I mean, I do, or I have in my garage. That's what I've done in my garage. Break out some tools, just kind of zone out for a little bit.
Yeah, it's great. I can tell you that will be one of my retirement hobbies. Will be woodworking. Absolutely,
a lot of people say that.
I mean,
that
it's great. One of the guys that's part of the IBEW local 110. That's one of his hobbies.
Yep.
He makes wood things, and he donates. I know I received one of them as a prize. He donated a big cribbage board with the IBEW logo on it and everything.
Nice.
Super cool piece, and that's probably one of my most prized woodwork pieces that I have in my house is that big cribbage board with the IBEW logo. It's really cool. But
says a lot about you that it's a cribbage board, Pete.
Ouch.
Anyway.
We're going to talk after we finish recording about John's level of cribbage knowledge. So we're going to finish up real quick. Nice. I did mention here a couple times. So we have numbers 3, 2, and 1 left. But number 2 was martial arts. We talked about it before, right? Yep. So we're just going to talk about the last 2. I was just keeping in mind martial arts did fall at number 2. Number 3, jewelry making.
There again, arts and crafts.
There's also a business associated with that. I know a couple ladies that...
Right. Well, see, that brings up my point, though. This isn't sexist at all. I'm just legitimately curious. Do ladies more often have hobbies that are more creative than a dude? Probably.
I would say different form of creative.
Historically, but even up to today, if you were to ask 1,000 random men and 1,000 random females, okay, obvious things that would be stereotypical on either side of the line. Hey, do you hunt? Mm-hmm. And see what the number. Hey, do you knit?
Yep.
How many dudes are saying yeah?
To knitting?
You know you're getting a handful of women out of 1,000, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Cross stitch, same.
Mm-hmm.
Crochet, same. I'm just saying. Quilting, same. Right?
Yep.
That's all I'm getting at. It's not anything against ladies, but they do tend to have a lot more creative hobbies than we do.
Yeah.
Where at the end of the day, they have a product, an art of some kind to go, my hobby at least created this.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is a different kind of creative hobby, right?
Right.
So, because typically you'll see men doing woodworking. Freaking guys used to, make swords as a hobby.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
So, as the gun came around because of a hobby.
Ironic that John couldn't think of the word smith.
Well, I was trying to stay away from it because those were even the shoesmiths. If you go to the blacksmiths, right, is what you're talking about. But those are jobs. Those are actual jobs, not hobbies. Guys used to just make swords and spears for hobbies.
Question. if you think you might be paid for it one day and you're willing to do it now for free to learn how to do it, but you might never get paid. You're doing it for the love of what you're doing. Is that a hobby?
Yes.
that's
Sounds
hobby.
like a blacksmith.
Yes.
Sounds like any apprentice to me. You might never get paid real good for it. But you're here for the love of learning how to do it properly.
Yeah.
And the bonus is you took the time to learn it, and now
Yeah.
people pay you for the skill. But for a while, you were getting paid nothing or shit.
Weren't we just talking about the different types of crafts that people would do?
He's,
Okay,
he's
so-
mad about this craft earning money thing. He's
Okay,
mad about this
so-
craft earning
No,
money
no, no.
thing.
So if we were to stereotype and you know, not that
Dance,
we're-
puppets, dance.
Yeah. If we were to stereotype things that require non-powered hand tools as a means of crafting would be stereotypically more a female interest than a male interest. Whereas if you are crafting something with a power tool or some type of machinery, it would be more attractive to a stereotypical male.
That's a
Status.
strong stance to take.
And
That's, I mean,
That's a strong stance to take.
and that's just
I'm not saying it's wrong, but that's a strong stance.
and I'm not saying that it's not there. It's that I think
stereotypically,
that
I mean, yes.
only speaking stereotypically, that would probably follow more of those means. Now,
Seamstress,
granted,
quilting, those are machines, power tools.
yeah, that's
sewing
absolutely
machine.
true.
Okay, yeah,
Weaving,
and that's
any sort of
weaving.
weaving. Yeah, right. That's a power tool. More
but
dangerous
wouldn't
than a
have
drill.
to be.
More,
The weaving wouldn't have to be because the big weaving.
yeah, but no, but
Correct.
neither
Yeah,
would
the big
but
looms.
neither would sewing, neither would
Yeah, neither would sewing or
they
stitching.
just are because of the Industrial Revolution, right?
Right.
And in the textile industry, right?
Right.
Wow, we went off the rails, eh?
Okay.
Oh shit, we
Fucking-
went off the rails today. I like
Sorry.
this. Okay.
Okay,
So, we talked
and-
about the original start of this was jewelry making, by the way.
Right.
6 minutes ago, maybe. Yeah. Jewelry making.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think it's got to be for
I
me.
think it has to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
I think it has to be. All right.
I would agree.
All right. So again, we skipped martial arts because that was number 2. We talked about it a minute ago.
Yep.
I got a real big problem with number 1. I'm happy and annoyed in the same breath that it's number 1. I'm going to give you both the chance to guess. I'm going to start with you, Pete.
Oh.
What do you think the number 1 hobby of the top 37? And then I'm going to give some honorable mentions that were in the later ones that are ridiculous. What do you think the top hobby for people is? This is in North America. That's where they came up with this, from Skill Scouter.
Number 1
Yeah.
hobby?
What's the number 1 hobby for people in North America? Men, women, aged, forget all that. Everybody, what's the number 1 hobby? Dead air is excellent podcast.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, 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 dun. I'll throw a guess. Hunting.
Hunting. All right, John?
Cooking,
Cooking.
Cooking. That was a good answer, Jeff.
baking,
Interesting.
and cooking.
All right, so you're both wrong, but I think both excellent answers. I'm going to find out where the 2 of yours fell before I give you what the actual answer is. So we said cooking and hunting.
Yep.
Okay. Cooking fell in at number 23. It's pretty good. We
okay.
started at 20. Yeah. And just for the sake of argument, I consider if you're trying to learn new recipes I consider that a hobby.
Okay.
right?
That's fair.
If you're doing it professionally,
That's
it's fair,
fair.
right? But I mean,
Yep.
you're learning and trying to be better. That I consider cooking definitely a hobby, right? John's didn't make the list for hunting, which surprises me because in North America, I thought that was going to be a big, big number. So I'm going to give you number 1, and then I'm going to give you some honorable mentions that'll make you realize why common sense ones like hunting didn't make the list. All right. The number 1 is reading.
See, that's number 2 on my list that I have.
Really?
I don't want to consider reading a hobby, but it seems like it counts.
I mean, if you're just looking for a solo activity, just to I'm putting it in the same realms as video games.
Okay.
You just get to dial down, relax,
Zone out.
zone out.
What was your number 1?
Cooking.
Cooking. Oh, cool.
On my
Cooking
list.
was your number. Where did yours come from?
93.1 iHeart.
It's really weird. He's actually the techie one.
93.1.
You might not think, listen
my
to the
heart.
show, folks, but John's actually, without John, I'm just talking into a microphone, not even turned on to myself in the basement of my house. So yours was cooking. Okay, so let me, as promised, before we wrap up here, let me give you some of the ones that were past the 20s here that I thought were really ridiculous. Movie watching. Get the fuck out of here. That was 26. Genealogy. Honorable mention for genealogy. It takes a lot of effort. You got to make a lot of calls. It takes some work. It's not a glamorous hobby, but genealogy seems like it might work for me.
I mean, I found a lot of enjoyment learning about my genealogy that I just did.
Right.
That took a lot of time.
Pete, genealogy, yay or nay, buddy?
I think for some people it'd be interesting.
He's saying
that you're going to have to spend time doing it.
You have wins, you have losses. It takes
to-
effort. You got to learn how to do it properly.
Yeah. It in a lot of respects would qualify as a hobby. Unfortunately,
To my point earlier, you might need to get some advice from
realm.
people to see in real life how you do it, not just from a book. Okay.
Sure.
All right, so I thought that one was
Interesting.
interesting. Yeah, genealogy was like number 30. Oh, sorry, number 29. We'll start there. Calligraphy, writing fancy. Fuck you, and you're writing fancy. Okay.
I'll put that as a hobby, though.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
Really?
We put writing in
Yeah.
general as a hobby. I just put a stylist writing.
No,
Sure.
but writing to come up with something new and creative, whether it's a poem or writing.
Yeah.
Okay. That's coming up with something creatively out of your own head. Calligraphy is just learning how to write your name fancy and other people.
No. If
Calligraphy is
writing-
more of an art form.
Writing gets you prizes and universal fame over the years when you write a masterpiece. Calligraphy is you at the Renaissance Fair going, how do you spell your name? I can make it look real pretty. Like, calligraphy don't impress me none. I got to tell you that.
Yeah, but if you were handwriting a love letter to your wife, wouldn't you like
Hey,
it to
man.
look nice?
To answer your question first, yes, I would like it to look nice. B, look me in the eye and tell me when's the last time you wrote your wife a love letter.
I'm just saying, people that do
That's
calligraphy
not
and
what
writing,
I
is
asked
that
you at
what
all.
they're going for?
That's not what I asked you at all.
Look,
When's the
I
last
don't
time
play
you wrote your wife-
sports, and you're calling those a hobby.
No, it's not that you don't listen. Okay, we're jumping way back here, but you fucking brought this up, all right? We're going to make this point. We're going to move on, and we're going to call it a day, folks. Thank you for everybody who listened this long. This is definitely our longest episode yet, okay? Hey, man, it wasn't that you don't...
It is your fault.
It wasn't that you weren't involved in sports. It's that you don't watch any. It's weird, man.
Yeah, no, but you still
It's-
consider them.
It-
Just because you don't do it doesn't mean it's not a fucking hobby.
You would literally have to participate in the thing to make it a hobby. We agreed that watching sports didn't
People
count.
do calligraphy. Clearly, it's on the list.
Well, just because it's on the list doesn't mean it qualifies
Shut up,
under
Pete.
our
Fuck off.
determination, right? Our determination is different.
Listen, John is only on the list of the top 30 male names because they named 23 popes that. It's historical, man. Other than that, people would be like, John would have been...
I have the most popular name in the world.
No.
Get bent.
You have the most common name, get unbent.
It's most popular. Clearly, if it's most common, it's most popular.
I'll tell you what, I've seen your name on billboards.
Yeah, and in wallets and on phones.
And
whatever.
in, yeah.
Hey, man, that's absolutely true. I agree with everything you just said. But is your name in every single calendar that was ever created in the history of mankind? Because mine is July, August, September, October, November. JASON. My name has been in every calendar that ever existed.
Wow, he's really stretching.
Just saying, man.
He's feeling a little low.
I like it. I like it.
I'm always a little low. 5'9" ain't really tall, folks. I think we're at a good point here, huh?
Man,
Pete,
it's been fun.
we can't thank you enough for coming back.
Guys,
What a
thank
fun
you
topic.
so
I don't have
much.
anything in
This
my
is
class.
fun.
Bad luck.
This
We
is fun,
got
guys.
off on the rails today, but that was what we were hoping for, folks.
Thank you guys for having me back. I
Oh, no,
appreciate
hey,
it.
dude.
This is so much
always a
fun,
riot,
and I
dude.
love seeing you guys. You guys are such good friends of mine. I
Oh,
appreciate
this is
you.
beauty, man. And we're going to get out golfing more, and I'm going to drop it on John right now, an idea I had that I hadn't brought up before now. I think this year will be the first annual I Saw podcast golf tournament.
I love it.
We can definitely try to put that
We'll
together.
start small and we'll build from there. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll start small. I think we want to do that this year. Only guests and their significant +1.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
We can
for this
definitely do that. And this year I can actually golf because I'm not having surgery. At least I'm not planning to anyway.
Yeah, don't do that again. Don't do that again.
We missed you last summer, buddy. That's for sure. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for listening once again this week. John is going to give you all the pertinent details.
Oh, you're putting them on me.
Yeah, I'm trying to find new ways to just drop it on them in the moment, folks.
You could have just done it, but whatever.
Less fun for me.
So everybody head over to the iShower after work. isawpodcast.com, you son of a bitch. Head over to isawpodcast.com. You find the get on the website, find the be a guest tab, just like Pete did.
Yeah.
Sign up.
Yeah.
Pete, did you find that convenient?
Oh, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's super easy.
You got the
Super
media release,
easy.
sign that.
Even somebody with my IQ level can handle it. And that's
Jesus.
that's really important.
Pete, you're not that dumb. All right. So, but head
Only
over
one day a week I can show up with something smart.
you'll find once you get on that website, you'll also find the buy us a beer widget, and it usually pops up and asks if you want to support this. You can buy us a beer or several. Usually you become a sponsor on one of the episodes when you do that. Kind of just helps us out, covers some of the cost along with this train wreck that we got. And then you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at ISAW Podcasts. You can DM us directly. But the last part, and that I actually want to tell you, is the best thing you can do. Thanks, 1, for listening all the way to the end of this episode, and 2, give us a like, give us a rate, review, and subscribe.
Thank you,
that
please.
is huge. But I'm done. Jason, what else do you want to tell them?
The last thing I wanted to say was 2 things. 1, thanks again, Pete. We do really appreciate you coming here with us on the Eastside Job trailer. And number 2, I promised everybody to give them one last number on this list. We're going to end with it today. Number 30 on the list of most popular hobbies, podcasts.
Yeah.
Remember, everybody,
All right.
your work keeps the world working. Be safe next week. Sláinte.
Sláinte.
Sláinte.